June is LGBTQI2 plus month, and to kick that off, a bar in Dallas, Texas goes and holds a drag show called Drag Your Kids to Pride. Then actor Matthew McConaughey visits the White House to talk about more gun control. Then Joy Behar from The View makes the dumbest claim in television history. Next, crazy leftist lunatic tries to assassinate Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Then lastly, Joe Biden goes on to Jimmy Kimmel Live and says some strange things. My name is Solomon, and this is The Solo Show. So I have an intro. It's coming, or I have it. I just don't know how to edit it into my videos. So next week, hopefully we'll have one. This post is also like a week and a half late, just due to me being too busy and not being able to really come in here and record the podcast. So, happy Pride Month, ladies and gentlemen, or should I say they, thems. I was looking around to find out what topics I wanted to talk about for this week, and I came across a video of Michael Knowles, which is another conservative political commentator from the Daily Wire. He was talking about pride. He goes on and says, "Pride is the deadliest sin, and it is the queen of all vices. It is the excessive love of one's excellence. It is what caused Satan to fall from heaven. It is what caused Adam to fall from paradise. Pride is the fantasy that you are just perfect, that humans are perfect just the way they are. The left thinks this way, but conservatives understand the true way humans are. We are heavily flawed. We are constantly able to be better." So with that, let's get into our first topic. So this is going to be about a drag show that took place in Dallas, Texas. Drag originates from a very sexual place. It means men dressing up in women's clothing and makeup, and it's very overly sexualized. Then they dance in a show that resembles a strip club. So this Dallas bar held a drag show named Drag Your Kids to Pride, which is funny because I doubt any kids would actually want to go here. So it's rightfully named, and it also received major backlash, also rightfully so, since there are videos out where it is heavily disturbing. It's you see a young girl stuffing dollar bills into a drag queen's undergarment, which is very disturbing. There are other videos where the drag queen dances close to a child, and the child seems visibly disturbed, like she's like looking away, kind of like leaning and everything as the drag queens get closer to her. Then there's another video where kids seem to go onto like the little, it's not really a stage, but in the middle of the bar with the drag queens and kind of like walk and dance with them. Then you can see this boy, he's about 8 years old, be right next to them, and he's doing those things the young boys do when they don't want to do something, where they're just kind of like dragging their bodies, like their arms are limbed, and they're kind of just like with their faces down. And there's many of these videos, and you could tell a lot of these kids didn't want to be there, and I'm pretty sure it was their parents' decision. Bringing a kid to a drag show is like bringing an 8-year-old to a strip club. Both are very wrong, and I don't understand how people are okay with this. I would go to jail for taking an 8-year-old to a strip club. And if you took a kid to a drag show in Texas, you would also be jailed, because there is a Texas law that you can't bring people under 21 into drag shows. But the Dallas police didn't do anything and just stood outside trying to contain protesters. And these protesters weren't just angry conservatives. They're also liberals, like people on the left. They were mad. They know that drag is a very sexual show, and they don't understand why there are other people on the left are taking kids to them. This is very unreasonable. When did bringing children to a sex show okay? The far left is completely losing their minds. They're very disconnected from reality, and that's going to be something you see continued throughout the topics that I hit. They just seem completely disconnected. So let's see. We have actor Matthew McConaughey visiting the White House to talk about gun control. It is the same thing for the people on the left. He says we need stricter background checks. We need to implicate red flag laws nationally, and higher the age to purchase assault rifles, or what people call, rifles. This, of course, is just an act for the Democrats. These are just claims. They just say stuff with no evidence. I have nothing against Matthew McConaughey. I think I'm saying his last name wrong, honestly. It just seems the White House thought he would persuade people to vote for more gun control since he is the popular actor. He advocates for stricter background checks, even though there's background checks required in every state. I think what they're more pushing for when they say background checks is more of like gun registration, where it kind of just follows them. Because, you already have to wait for background check before purchasing any type of gun in any store. And then let's see. Then you have the red flag laws that don't work and are extremely dangerous. This is since red flag laws. If you don't know what the red flag laws are, it's basically, let's say I have firearms and I have a crazy. This is what makes it flawed. If I have a crazy ex, she could tell authorities that I might be a danger to myself or others, and then they'll take my guns without any due process. They'll come into my home and be able to take them, and I would have to go to court, and then I could prove that I'm not a danger to people or other people. I think this is heavily flawed since it would be unconstitutional to do this. And, maybe if it was like a due process, like someone could report it and then there was an investigation. And then if that investigation concluded that I was a danger to other people or myself, then yeah, I could probably get behind that. You could tell it didn't work because the Buffalo shooter, he lives in New York where there's red flag laws. And he was able to get away with shooting up a whole grocery store and everything. No one threw any red flags or anything like that. So that just shows that they don't stop anything really. And then the last thing McConaughey said was to raise the age limit to purchase firearms or raise rifles, which again would do nothing to really stop gun violence since most gun violence are used with handguns. And, if you do raise the age to buying guns to 18 to 21, it would basically infringe on the 18 to 20-year-olds' constitutional rights. And you would also have to, it would only make sense to higher the enlisting age, the voting age, also to 21. So it doesn't really make all that sense. So this kind of throws all the arguments McConnell said at the White House away. And then let's see. And then we have Joy Behar. If you don't know Joy Behar, she is one of the hosts of the talk show The View. The View is a horrible daytime talk show. I've heard things of what they said in the past, and they aren't the smartest group of women. We'll just leave it at that. So, last week, they were talking about gun control and gun laws. And as a black woman was giving statistics about guns and gun ownership and stuff like that, Joy Behar interrupts her and says, "Here's the thing. Once black people get guns in this country, the gun laws will change. Trust me." Now, I don't know what country Joy Behar lives in, but black people do have guns in this country. In recent years, gun ownership amongst black Americans have doubled in recent years. So not only do black people have guns, but they've been doubling gun ownership in the past couple of years, and nothing has changed. It's been completely the same. There has been no serious laws being pushed by conservatives or Republicans because black people are owning guns. I don't know. Then you have after she says that, you have people clapping and cheering her on, which is completely outrageous. You could tell these people are disconnected from reality. They are just in an echo chamber where they can make outrageous claims and be praised for it. It is quite insane. Then, staying on the topic of insane, we have a crazy lunatic leftist that tries to assassinate Brett Kavanaugh. So, man showed up at the Supreme Court Justice's house, Brett Kavanaugh, with a weapon and presumably assassinates or attempting to assassinate him and his family. The man was thankfully stopped by police officers before he was able to enter his home. A little side note, this is when the Second Amendment would come in handy, since if those police officers weren't there, he would have entered the home into Brett Kavanaugh's house, and Brett Kavanaugh would have been able to use a firearm to be able to defend him and his family's lives. But I said this in an earlier episode. I said the Democrats leaked the Roe v. Wade draft opinion for stuff like this. They knew this would come. This would cause major backlash. with the hopes of something will change. This assassin for the left said he went to Justice Brett Kavanaugh's house because he was upset with the draft opinion leak that someone on the left leaked. Then someone doxed the Supreme Court justice's address. Protesters were outside protesting. Democrats did nothing to condemn this. Now, someone tried to assassinate a Supreme Court justice, and if you have gone on any mainstream news outlets, with the exception of maybe Fox, you would have not known about this. It is completely absurd, but you have every other news channel talking about the January 6th and how it was a threat to our democracy. But would this not also be a threat to our democracy? The left is constantly being unreasonable. They're constantly making outrageous claims. They're constantly trying to say we are the threat to democracy, but they try to end a bunch of things, weird voting things. So next, you have an actor doing White House press briefings, and you have the president on a late night talk show. Seems a little backwards. So you have Joe Biden appearing on Jimmy Kimmel Live, and it is quite depressing since he kind of looks like one of those old relatives who ramble on to just about anything and everything. There are only two things that Joe Biden said I want to talk about. The first is when Jimmy Kimmel asked about the potential overturn, and Biden says if Roe v. Wade, it would be a start. If Roe v. Wade is overturned, it will start a revolutionary war. Which is crazy to think about, since Roe v. Wade overturning would just protect unborn babies from being murdered and ripped out from their mothers. If you are on the side of protecting innocent lives, I would question your humanity just a little bit. And then the next statement Joe Biden asked, when was the last time a biracial couple on TV? When was the last time you saw a biracial couple on TV? Joe Biden obviously misspoke, since biracial would be a single person, mostly mixed with two or more races. So I think he meant interracial, but are you kidding me? The last time you've seen it, you can't turn on TV without seeing someone that's gay, different races. You have people that are trans. You can't go a day without seeing this, especially now since we're in June. I think Joe Biden's mind is just stuck in the 70s, where everyone, I guess, is just racist, homophobic, and bigots. Again, these people are extremely disconnected from reality. You have all this inclusiveness, as they would say. Now that it's June, you have companies changing their icons. You have people. You go to these parades, and it is quite disturbing. I passed by one of the parades in Tower District, and I seen a young child with his mother walking, walking, and then the mother also had a younger child on a stroller. And right behind them were multiple gay men in, I think it's BDSM leather lingerie with everything out. And it is just insane how these people think that they are not equal, I guess. I don't know. These people are very disconnected from reality, and they're pushing very radical beliefs, basically. So that's all I have for you guys today. I'll see you guys next week. Godspeed.